The pathing of PlayStation's first-party studios has been largely kept behind closed doors for the entire PS5 console generation. All have been in a phase of constant changing and adapting as the industry continues to never settle on structure. There is no settling in creative fields, and in a medium is ever-changing. Locking in on character building is where PlayStation built their modern reputation. You enter periods like now where there is a lot of opportunity that requires a lot of risk. Not everyone can win, but everyone wants to try. During the PS4's 7-year run, studios succeeded by continuing to capitalize on what worked, creating the strongest narrative-driven games on the market that birthed timeless characters. Naughty Dog led PlayStation down this path and then began pursuit of a new one. In order to lead in multiple paths, experimentation and risk have to take the lead, and not even the industry's best is immune to the potential results of that. The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered works very well for what it exists to service. You get everything that was and everything that could have been in regards to its storytelling. Hearing Neil and others give context to big decisions via commentary ties a bow around the game's narrative choices. There's value in hearing a new perspective on why the easy road wasn't taken in regards to writing Part 2. The prospect of remastering a 3-year-old game that still next to none have caught up to technically is a wild sale if not for its forgiving upgrade path. The reason many will choose to revisit it is for its cut content and its new mode. No Return is some of Naughty Dog's best in regards to their storied history with this type of PvE content. Having a playground to really test the combat systems they built and see how effective you are in the face of many new adversities is borderline nostalgic. But that nostalgia can't fully be realized. In many encounters of No Return, you get a companion who assists in that round's challenges. Having this companion in this setting really reminds you that Factions 2 no longer exists. This experience we do have would be greatly enhanced by the inclusion of human connection, something that is so strongly on display in The Last of Us and its themes that we will no longer get to experience in real time. No Return is an example of less is more making all the difference. Even if this single mode had online co-op, it would have been played for years until they turned the lights off. Historically, this is exactly what happened with every single one of Naughty Dog's multiplayer efforts. A simple set of modes where all the fun came from mastering the complexities of the combat system you got to take through their single-player counterparts. It was always more than enough. But the industry decided that it can't be anymore, and so instead we start at ground zero. The Last of Us as an IP has been at the forefront of Naughty Dog's output since they started constructing the plan to maximize its reach. If everything fell into place and in the right order, it would set a new standard in how to utilize IP in and out of its medium. If any studio was going to try and pull off this success story, it always had to be Naughty Dog, as they have the most viable IP to convert. This future for games is inevitable. The Last of Us was already a wide-reaching IP. It's a story that in its original form attracted people to the medium. A medium that still many had no idea what it was capable of or what it's done so far. The HBO show served as another window for that same outcome, as did the accessibility of the Part 1 remake and Part 2 remaster. The issue ends up being that the multiplayer project felt like the beating heart in the expansion of The Last of Us. The idea of expansion at this level is that ideally you want a place to fall back to in between the main events. A multiplayer fills these gaps so well even in their simplest forms. The wait between the first 3 Uncharted games was short by today's standard, but it was a wait made far shorter. A place existed where the treasure hunting never stopped. The Last of Us Factions carried an entire community 7 years to its sequel. An experience so small but with so much replayability and an undying community backing it. Waiting for the continuation of Joel and Ellie's story was made light work. When it came time to realize that in its current form it's not a viable option for the studio, Factions 2 was removed from the plan. Naughty Dog noted they yet again have multiple paths in front of them. Become a solely live service game studio, or continue to focus on narrative-driven single-player games that have defined Naughty Dog's heritage. While single-player games will always be what defines Naughty Dog and the work speaks for itself, multiplayer has since 2009 been a part of that same heritage every step of the way until right now. It never came at the expense of their industry-leading narratives. Naughty Dog made multiplayer games, and they made good ones that gave their audience all the confidence in the world that when it came time to execute at a higher level, it would be a defining moment for everyone. But the games industry's trajectory and that vision clashed. What once worked could no longer. In an attempt to service both needs, that part of them died. It feels like in order to continue to thrive in the single-player space, heritage has to be left behind. And that's unfortunate for a community that believed it could be done for over a decade. The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered is a genuinely good package that clearly a lot of hard work went into. But it can't help but be a reminder of what once was and what will never be. That is where Naughty Dog's future is decided. Their final products always come out on top, even if the process to get there has its moments of stress. If they can still manage to succeed at the end every time, it makes for a better story to see how hard it was to get there. The cancellation of a game would serve as the same. In a time where a lot of the industry is facing its own adversity, it would be truly beneficial to hear from them. They intend to release another documentary on the making of The Last of Us Part 2 where they will inevitably address the game's controversy, but that's only the beginning of the story. The Last of Us as an IP will continue to thrive as a titan of industry. It's no doubt earned it. We now exist in a place where it's impossible to predict what Naughty Dog will truly do next. Now more than ever, their next step is extremely vital for their future. We are yet again at the same impasse from 2011. A narrative has been left in a place where it could truly be over, and we now move on to Phase 2, which is a new IP that has to show people what they're made of. Can they make PlayStation's biggest characters again? After that comes the inevitable return and conclusion of said popular IP, where they will need to deliver on a definitive conclusion. And the cycle continues. New IP is something that will prove so positive for Naughty Dog this generation. With the multiplayer out of the equation, it's okay to let The Last of Us run free for a while. The show can now do its job in collecting all the people needed to make Part 3 the grand finale it needs to be. In the meantime, it's important we see what Naughty Dog can do again.